good day to all of you watching Agenda. Welcome to the program. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for being subscribers of Cignal TV, viewers of One News PH on channels 8 and 250, and thank you for joining us this morning when we promise to give you interesting conversation with two of our guests. Today is May 5, 2020. It's a Thursday, and today we will be speaking first with a representative of Greenpeace Philippines, and they're on the program today because they would like to react to their representative regarding the current discussion that we've had on the program regarding nuclear energy for the Philippines. And we will be interviewing their representative, Khevin, campaigner of Greenpeace in the Philippines. After Khevin, we will speak with a social entrepreneur. We will find out what really is a social entrepreneur, because our second guest for today is someone who is known for being a plantito. Plantito nga ba? Tama ba yung sinabi kong yung term na yun? But he is a social entrepreneur, our friend Louie Gutierrez, regarding urban farming. Now, many of you might be wondering, bakit panay puro agri and nuclear power ang diniscuss ni Cito during this week? Well, to begin with, I picked up from the National Grid Corporation representative that there is a very thin, manipis supply of power, electricity. In fact, that they have even suggested for a one-week vacation for government offices during the elections. Because if any of the power plants suddenly conk out or malfunctions, we may not have enough electricity around the country to properly conduct the elections and the canvassing of ballots. So that is why the NGCP reportedly made that suggestion na mag-time out ng isang linggo. Now, if that is the case, it tells us that we have a serious energy reserves problem in the Philippines, and that's why we're talking about nuclear power options, because the president included that. Now, why are we talking constantly about urban farming, agri, etc.? If you have been living in a cave, then you probably have not heard that there is a war in Ukraine, and Russian and Ukrainian exports, agricultural exports, have not come out of those two countries. Then there is the fuel crisis, which affects both energy and food security of many countries. In fact, Indonesia has already declared that they will stop the export of palm oil. So little by little, food security is becoming a real problem for many countries, and that's why we're addressing both food security and energy here on Agenda. Kasi puro na lang eleksyon, nakakalimutan that with or without the politicians, we will need both food and electricity. Anyway, let's start our day with our daily starter from Josh Ship. Okay, our daily starter goes, you either get bitter or you get better. It's that simple. You either take what has been dealt to you and allow it to make you a better person, or you allow it to tear you down. The choice does not belong to fate, it belongs to you. Yun po, no? So, wag kayong bitter. Okay? Move on and do things. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star for today's news. May 5, May 5, 2020, and the front page. no written order yet stopping e-sabong. After the president publicly declared that online sabong is officially stopped, ended the other night, there is still no executive order or official document coming out of Malacanang, particularly the Office of the President and specifically the Office of the Executive Secretary. And that is a cause for concern because many police officers, local authorities don't have an official leg to stand on until such a official document is released by Secretary Medialdea. Okay, so calling Secretary Bingbong Medialdea, pakilabas na po yang dokumento na yan. At the top of the front page, at the header, Aguirre, referring to former Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre, denies coercing former Bureau of Corrections chief to testify versus former Senator Laila De Lima. Of course, everyone will be denying. Meanwhile, that big photo at the upper left corner of the Philippine Star is a new billboard, one of the several that has been popping up in Metro Manila saying, tumindig para sa tama. Stand up for what is right. A billboard urging people to stand up for what is right is displayed along Commonwealth Avenue in Quezon City yesterday, 5 days before the elections. And the Philippines is now ranked number 147 in World Press Freedom Index. Okay, taas ano? Ang taas ng ating ranking, but unfortunately, it is not who is the highest in number ranking. We are actually now much lower than last year. Last year, we were 138. Okay, bumagsak tayo in other words, okay? Kumbaga sa UP, para kang nasingko because we are now 147th out of 180 countries in the latest World Press Freedom Index drawn up by Reporters Without Borders. Okay, meanwhile, please listen to this. Higher PhilHealth premiums next month. Starting June, PhilHealth will be charging higher premiums, okay, from members. Now, how high is higher? 1% laang. Okay, baka magrevolusyon kayo dyan. Okay, according to the PhilHealth Senior Manager for Formal Sectors, Sector Member Management Group, Rex Paul Recoter, the government-run institution is duty-bound to collect a 4% premium as mandated under the Universal Health Care law. As of now, we are collecting 3%, magiging 4% daw po. Nililinaw ko lang yan because we do not want people panicking and rising up in anger. Yung pala 1% laang. That center photo is photo of police officers and soldiers standing formation during a send-off ceremony at Camp Crame in Quezon City. Around 80,000 personnel from the PNP, AFP, and Philippine Coast Guard are being deployed all over the country to secure elections. Okay. Meanwhile, that lower photo on the left, members of the local electoral board conduct final testing and sealing of vote counting machines at Rafael Palma School in Manila. And Palas forms Committee for Smooth Transition of Power. Yan po, no? Malacanang has formed a committee. Right now, it is still a committee of one with headed by the Executive Secretary Bingbong Salvador Medialdea. But ultimately, there will be other members who will make the smooth turnover of Malacanang. Okay. And then United Nations declared social media platforms making money from lies. Obviously, and last but not the least, well, dalawa pa pala. COMELEC, the COMELEC Commissioner George Garcia said, "Huwag kayong maging marites during election day. Do not be chismoso, gossipers, and people who hang out at the election area after you've cast your votes. Please go home after voting or go do something else away from the election center para hindi kayo makagulo at magpasikip." Last but not the least, Energy Regulatory Commission allows staggered 7.76 billion Meralco refund. Okay, so that's all the news on the front page of the Philippine Star for May 5, 2022. Okay, now let's go to the main part of our program, the interviews. And first up, we have the campaigner for Greenpeace Philippines. We have Khevin. Khevin, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Cito. Thanks for having us in your program.
Well, I could not interview you guys. Well, actually, you were already on the list, but especially after I read, I don't know if it was you or one of your associates who had a long reaction on our Facebook account regarding nuclear power. Now, anyway, let's get straight to the topic. What is your reaction, or what is the position of Greenpeace regarding nuclear power or nuclear energy for the Philippines?
Yes, thanks, Chito. No, so it's very alarming for Greenpeace Philippines because our country right now we don't have nuclear energy operating, and we think the pursuit for rehabilitating and constructing new nuclear power plants is actually misled, and a distraction for our energy security. And for the Philippines, if we contextualize what we have right now is that that's renewable energy. Based on the study of the Department of Energy, meron po tayong 808 gigawatts of renewable energy potential. That is more than what we need currently right now. Kasi right now, we are only consuming around 26 gigawatts. So I think that should be the main focus that can promote energy independence. Ngayon po, ng mga nakaraang taon, nakaraang buwan, we have unreliable energy due to the fact that our energy source, which is primarily coming from coal, is imported. I think earlier this year, even Indonesia decided to, which is, by the way, the source of our coal, decided
60%. 60% of our coal requirements come from Indonesia.
Yes, they decided suddenly to stop exporting, and that alarmed us, the Philippines and the region. So imagine if we continue to pursue that kind of imported sources of energy, malaking problema yan. Yung yellow and red warnings and even yung threat of brownouts will be permanent. Nandiyan na siya parate. So that's why
yeah, Khevin, I hope you don't mind, because ito namang discussion regarding energy, regarding nuclear, that's always been on the table, and a lot of people have talked about it, and we just keep going around in circles. My question for you as a representative of Greenpeace, has Greenpeace actually built, organized, created, or initiated an energy source or facility to provide power that meets their environmental standards?
Yes, right now, no, agree. We don't engage, no, in operating in any facilities. We of course promote what we think is environmentally sound and locally contextualized, especially for the Philippines.
Yeah, but
So
is there such a model? Because I mean, I agree with you. I support Greenpeace. Okay, let's be clear about that. But when it comes to energy, people will say, "Oh, sige, tama kayo, no? You gusto nyo environmentally sound, you love the country, etc." Pero nasaan? Nasaan itong sinasabi ninyong model para makuha ng Pilipinas or so that the country can build one so everybody happy?
yes, Chito. No, actually, we're doing it right now. We're harnessing renewable energy in the Philippines, in small scale and even in the grid. No, so malalaki na yung mga solar plants in the Philippines, even geothermal and wind, that can provide more than 100 megawatts. So we are already utilizing it. Ang question is, can we scale it up, no, and tap yung sinasabi ko kaninang 808 gigawatts of RE. So we are currently using it, and it is possible from different scales.
Yeah, okay. So solar and wind, you're talking about that, and I have done my homework on solar and wind. In fact, I've enrolled in several real programs for the construction, installation of solar power systems. Now, the thing is, most solar power plants, if you want to call them that, or setups, is only at the most 50% reliable. Kasi pag panahon ng tag-ulan, sorry na lang magbaterya ka. Pag panahon naman ng maulap, may problema ka. And then as pollution rises, the efficiency of the solar panels go down. Now with wind, no power. So you're back to battery again. And the thing with batteries is that the technology is still not there. They're still very expensive. And at the end of 5 years, or let's say kahit na ideal 10 years, you still have to discard those batteries. So you have, kumbaga, there is no perfect solution. Whereas those who are pushing for the Bataan nuclear plant are claiming, okay, and I will not back it up because I haven't done the homework, that South Korea has it. They're running, I think they're running 3, if I heard it correctly from our 2 previous guests. So, and they're willing to, kumbaga, sila yung kakapital, total, nandiyan na yung facility, papaandarin na lang. So it will be, and it will also be a mix. Kumbaga, you have the solar, you have the wind, and you have the nuclear.
Yeah, Chito, that's a good question, and it's a common misconception actually, no, na that kung walang solar, kung walang araw at walang hangin, magiging problematic na tayo. But we need to see, no, that when we need energy, nandyan ang araw. And that's the time that the solar can provide energy. Kasi po sa Philippines, yung peak energy demand natin is during the afternoon, 3 p.m. And in the morning, where we go to the office, use air conditioning, and of course, conduct industrial practices.
Yeah.
So for us, for Greenpeace Philippines, we do not only promote one source of renewable energy. Ang isa sa tinitingnan namin ay dapat maging maging malawak ang different sources of energy. So that means kung walang solar, then we will rely on geothermal and hydro. Kung walang hangin, and we will rely on other energy sources. And that's yung sa in terms of storage. Actually, that's one of the problems of battery, no. So meron nga question of paano yung magiging life cycle na, and how can it be disposed. And with proper legislation, I think we can address that. And technology for storage is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Khevin, aside from battery, ang dami ring new technologies for it. Cito,
yes. Khevin, please, no, I just want to make this clear. I support wind and solar. I have been an enthusiast of solar for the longest time. But why is it na hindi napupush or I don't know, I have never heard Greenpeace really lobbying for tax-free or for legislated grants or incentives for people to install solar, because practically every year I keep trying to have solar installed on top of my house para makalibre naman ngayong tag-init sa aircon, sobrang mahal ng kuryente, pero kailangan mo ng kalahating milyon para lang makapagpaandar ka ng aircon at saka ng appliance. Sabi ko, magbayad na lang ako sa Meralco. Parang ganun din ang labanan. Hindi naman pala ganun kamura.
Yes, thanks Cito. No? Actually, yan yung isa sa pinupush namin. Greenpeace was part of the lobbying of the Renewable Energy Act of 2008. Pero unfortunately, hindi pa lahat ng provisions nun ay na-implement na even after 10 years. I think one of the reasons din kung bakit hindi siya fully napopromote yung renewable energy is that we experience a dirty energy transition nung past decade. So doon po nag-expand yung coal, no? So I think from 30% naging more than almost 60% of our energy comes from coal right now.
Yeah.
So that was a misconception na mas mura siya, reliable, magpo-provide ng baseload. At saan tayo napunta? Napunta tayo kung saan yung NGCP nagsasabi na meron tayong problem na sa kuryente kasi pumapalya po itong mga coal plants na to at mahal po siya. And that's why we are saying that yung mga distributors and even generators should provide the renewable energy options. Kasi isa pong inisip rin kadalasan ay yung consumers yung magbibili ng equipment. Totoo po, medyo mahal po yung initial capital, but consumers should have options. And I think yung DOE, yung batas ngayon dun sa Renewable Energy Act that provides yung option for renewable energy kung saan kung ako, may bahay ako, I can ask Meralco na dapat sa solar, wind, or geothermal na magagaling yung kuryente ko, which should be cheaper and more reliable. Kasi yun na po yung reality, right?
Yeah, but Khevin, okay, speaking of reality, paano mo ko sasabihin? Tatagalugin ko na lang. Kayo ba naniniwala pa sa Department of Energy? Kasi I'm sorry, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I mean, in the last so many months, the Secretary of Energy has concentrated more on politics than on energy. And the department as a whole has become more of an apologist for the price of fuel, etc. And nothing has moved forward. Everything still remains private sector. And anything that the private sector initiates, government immediately makes money on via taxes. So hindi tayo makamove forward. Like gusto ninyo ng solar, but what other moves are you thinking of? Kasi parang, I have to be honest din, Khevin, parang campaigners na lang kayo. Parang nawala na yung ipin. I mean, I remember 20 years ago, wow, pag sinabi mong Greenpeace, nagpapakamatay para sa balyena. Now, parang humina. What's happened to Greenpeace? Nagbago ba yung inyong radical campaigning? What's happened?
Yeah, thanks, Cito. I think we remain firm in terms of our position for energy transition to renewable energy.
Okay.
Well, in fact, we raised the issue sa DOE kasi ayun nga nagiging problematic yung DOE ngayon. We agree on that, Cito, kasi they've been promoting itong nuclear energy. Well, in fact, we conducted a photo ops in front of their office. Dinala namin yung mga nuclear namin suits, yung hazmat namin and yung nuclear waste, kasi yung isang problem na hindi ma-address. Nuclear waste can only be stored pero hindi siya nawawala. So ang nangyari kasi DOE is now promoting itong mga untested pa sa Philippines na energy such as nuclear. And we say, since ang DOE, ang function nila is to provide the blueprint for energy development in the country, dapat sabihin nila, renewable energy ang dapat maging main source of electricity for the Philippines because that is our competitive advantage. And that is the asset of Filipinos. Ang dami-dami, 808 gigawatts ang meron tayo. Untap right now.
That is 800 gigawatts is something we could produce if we had the facilities, correct?
That is correct. That is the
Okay.
energy potential for
The
our
energy potential. Okay, so yung bang Greenpeace, if you and I were to travel all over the world and go visit different Greenpeace organizations or offices, is there any part in the world where you actually have a working model for renewable energy with a private company? Kasi ang feeling ko, if we can find those people who have set up those businesses and found a way for them to set up here, then you can keep promoting renewable energy. But until there is such a thing, kasi parang ilan lang yung renewable energy at solar farms dito, either it is politically controversial or it is a private firm that costs a lot of money in investment and relatively does not result in cheaper fuel, cheaper electricity.
Yeah, thanks, Cito. So right now, Greenpeace, we have around 55 offices in different countries. So ang role po kasi namin is we promote a campaign for renewable energy and also stop yung mga false solutions such as nuclear energy across the world. So we use the experience sa Philippines, sa Europe, and even in Asia to promote yung renewable energy because it is being harnessed right now. The question is sa pag-scale up ng ganitong facility. And for the Philippines kasi, I think another question na dapat tignan natin when we talk about nuclear and RE, because sa Philippines po privatized ang energy production. The government cannot partake in energy generation. So that means kung nagkaroon tayo ng nuclear power plant sa Pilipinas and they say na mas puro siya, let's look at our history. Since na-establish yung EPIRA law that basically privatize yung ating electricity sector, tumaas ang kuryente natin. Because what happens is the private companies pass on the cost to consumers.
Yeah,
and that will also happen to the nuclear facility.
Yeah, but mag-ingat tayo dyan, Khevin, yung pinapatunguhan mo yan kasi hindi pa yata tayo nakabawi doon sa ano ba yung government office na yun na who was in charge of power, etc. and nagkawindang-windang at puro corruption pati mga sasakyan So I mean I cannot even utter the name of the organization because it leaves.
Yes, that was the problem rin po nung public rin yung ating energy generation. So but right now that is what's happening in terms of prices.
So in reality, Greenpeace promotes ideas, standards, goals, but you really cannot give the actual solutions because it is not part of your business model, ika nga. So kayo, sinasabi nyo lang, let's protect the environment, let us use or promote sustainable, environmental friendly projects, programs, and solutions. Okay.
Cito, I think I lost you for 10 seconds.
Sorry. We're having a problem here. Anyway, so at the end of the day, you're promoting the ideals. The solution is up to us.
Yes, I think the solution is there. It's already there. It is our asset. It is our competitive advantage to use renewable energy. As a non-government organization, that is one of our core campaigns that Philippines should transition to renewable energy, not to nuclear, not to fossil gas, not to other forms of distractions. Because that is important because we are now in a climate emergency where solutions to electricity should be made within this decade.
Okay,
and
thank you.
And that means that 50% renewable energy should happen by 2030. Thank you, Chito.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And I do hope we can continue this conversation, particularly with the environment. And we salute Greenpeace. We salute you for your commitment to protecting the environment. Have a great day, Kevin.
Thank you, Chito.
Okay, that's Khevin Yu, campaigner for Greenpeace, and we will go for a quick break. And when we return, eto namang kakausapin natin, he came up with solutions. And I think what he continues to go all over the country, providing solutions not for power but for food. I speak of social entrepreneur and jeweler pa, Louie Gutierrez. We'll be right back after this quick break. Welcome back to the program agenda. We just want to say thank you to PLDT Home Fiber Optic Internet for continuously supporting us and fixing all the stolen wires in the neighborhood. Mag-ingat po kayo, nagkakanakawan na naman ng mga kable, taghirap na sa Pilipinas. Anyway, let's go to our next guest, Louie Gutierrez. He is the president of Social Enterprise Urban Farmers Sustainability Concepts Organization, Inc., which seeks to make use of idle land to turn it into productive farms in the city. He is also founder and managing partner of silver jewelry chain store Silverworks. Nakabili na ako dito ha. Okay, Gutierrez graduated from Ateneo de Manila University with a BA, Bachelor's of Arts degree in economics. And he took up Masters in Entrepreneurship at the Asian Institute of Management. And let's now go. Louie, welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Cito. Right now, I'm actually on location. No? I'm attending one of the events of our partners, Farm Ready, here in San Rafael, Bulacan. No?
Mhm.
It's really been an exciting journey for me over the past 2 years, where I learned a lot of things about agriculture, which I never learned before.
Okay, I was surprised kasi may-ari ka ng Silverworks. Ang ginagawa, ang pinag-aabalahan mo noon, pilak.
Yes.
Ngayon sabi, green gold na raw ang pinagkakaabalahan mo. How did you get into this urban farming project? And bakit parang ang impression is that pag may loteng bakante, pwedeng gawing urban farm. Could you tell us about your journey, please?
Yeah, before the pandemic, early quarter of 2020, of course, a lot of businesses were really, the economy was doing well. Even my stores, I was opening new stores every month, no?
Mhm.
And actually, 2 weeks before the pandemic, that March 2020 lockdown, we just opened 2 new stores, no? So I was busy really expanding my business in Silverworks, and March 15 everything stopped, no? Sinara yung mga malls, and I have 500 employees, and I didn't know how to support them kasi nga pag wala namang bukas na malls, walang kita yung mga tao. So I live in Bel Air in a gated village here in Makati, and one day I saw an area close to my home na was an idle land. Walang laman yung bahay, na yung lot, and it was full of overgrown weeds, no? And ang sabi ng village nga to the owner, they had to keep it clean kasi nga it was a health hazard. So naisip ko, I was walking there, I saw it had plenty of sun, and mukhang pwedeng to make use of it. I called the owner. Sabi ko, pwede bang magtanim dito sa area mo in exchange that I can clear your place. It was also during that time na uso yung plantito and plantita, no? And naisip ko din naman na instead of growing ornamentals, why not grow vegetables, no? And I asked my employees na walang trabaho kung sinong gustong matuto nitong farming, kasi like me, I have zero idea on it. So so meron naman may mga employees who said, let's try it, and we cleared the area. Pero I don't know anything about farming, so ano kayang gagawin ko, sabi ko. So of course everybody was in their homes, and the best resource was YouTube. So hanap ako sa YouTube ng sino kaya ang pwedeng tumulong sa akin para ma-start ko itong farm. So I was able to get to find a person, an agriculturist, Erwin Belen, who was doing grassroots projects to build small farms in barangays in Makati. So I messaged him on Facebook, and I asked if he could help me. So medyo that was the start of the journey, and from Bel Air, we've expanded to more areas now.
Okay, now a common friend of ours, Pastor Jerome Gutierrez, told me that from a 350 square meter property, medyo na-promote ka na raw, diyan ka na sa BGC nagtatanim. I mean, I find it funny and ironic na bumabalik tayo sa pagsasaka. We are returning to farming even in the most expensive pieces of real estate. Well, how did you land in the Bonifacio Global City premises?
Yeah, actually, since I've been in the retail business for the past 30 years, no, Silverworks is in its 30th year now.
No,
and
congratulations.
I've been working with malls, no. So one day during during one of my meetings with the mall leasing officers in Ayala, I was saying, no, walang tao sa mall natin. Ano kaya pwedeng gawin? How do we bring in people to the mall, no? And we got into talking, and then I told him, alam mo kung anong ginagawa ko ngayon dahil sarado yung mga malls natin at mahina yung sales. Nagtatanim ako dun sa Bel Air. And then, talaga? So with the support of Ayala and the head of sustainability, si Ana Marie Gonzalez, they went to the Bel Air farm, and they got really inspired with what we did there. And yun nga, they offered us this property in BGC. Sabi ko kasi I want to, nandyan na yan, and a lot of people are inspired with what we're doing in our small community in Bel Air. Why not, let's just scale it up and open a bigger area, a more public area, which can really create more impact. And of course, that was the BGC project, which is really really happening now, and a lot of people are becoming aware of it, and we're coming out with a lot of programs and activities there right now.
Okay, now, so ito parang some people might say, ay nako, Cito, yung fini-feature mo, hobby lang yan eh. But because many people have not tried their hand in growing vegetable, it is almost like raising a baby. Pahirapan, ang daming mga kailangang matutunan. Now, for those who are interested in starting, what were the learnings for you?
Well, ano nga, farming takes patience, no? I realize it's not like building a store, no, na sasabihin mo within 1 month dapat bukas na ako, no. I think this really happened also in BGC, where it took us around 8 months before we were able to start, no. There's a lot of roadblocks that happens. I will tell you, it's not really easy, no. But at the end of the day, with the things that are happening right now, with the inspiring things that we're able to do, and when I hear more people going into it, then I think this is called the success that we're looking for. No, it's not a monetary return on investment, but definitely there's such a thing called SROI, which is the social return on investment. No? I think more than the money that you're gonna be earning from an urban farm, it's your mental health, your a lot of things are put together there, and definitely it's much more bigger than the money that you will earn.
So like anything else in farming, katulad ng hog racing, unless you have the economy of scales, ika nga, kailangan malakihan at maramihan para maging kabuhayan. But you are saying that as far as these urban farms, gardens, plots are concerned, it is for the mental benefit of those who are involved. Siyempre, yung makakauwi ka ng isang supot ng gulay araw-araw, malaking bagay yon. But in terms of doing it, ano ba yung system na ina-apply niyo? What system do you use? Is it traditional farming methods, direct to ground? Is it container farming? Is it a combination of hydroponics, etc.?
Yeah, each area kasi we tailor the activity that we do for it, no. Like for example, in Bel Air, kukunti lang kasi yung mga dumadaan doon, no? So we are able to control our pests properly. So it's an organic farm. We never use pesticides or chemicals, and so that's how we work in the Bel Air farm. No? Dito naman sa dito sa BGC, we do GAP, no? Generally accepted practices, where we use chemicals pero at a very minute amount, no? Because the reason why is apparently in BGC they do pest control around the buildings regularly. So what happens is pumapasok yung mga pests dun sa farm namin. We actually tried 3 or 4 times to raise them organically, pero yun na nga, medyo challenging. So what we did is we do GAP nga, and hopefully after when things are more stable there, we'll take out the small chemicals that we put there. So ganun yon, no? So each environment has different ways of doing things, no? And hopefully we're gonna be doing permaculture in other areas also, which can really, para makita din ng mata na for every areas that they have, there's a certain way of farming that you can do. So plenty, no? You can even do container gardening, as you said, and hydroponics, which we are also in process of doing also in BGC, no. Right now meron kaming hydroponics doon, and also aquaponics. We've also started it, where the poop of the fish is used for fertilizers of for vegetables, no. So yeah. Sobrang dami pala ng ano. I really didn't realize that there's so many ways of ano of growing your vegetables. So excited. I'm really so excited with this.
Yeah, I'm sure that if you and I get together with several of the enthusiasts, we will spend an entire drinking coffee and sharing nightmares and success stories. But here's the thing. What's the objective? What is the long-term goal? Because alam mo, we feature all of this on agenda not just to entertain people. Kasi alam mo, I'm beyond entertainment. I want to educate people, but also, more importantly, we would like people to understand that in the next 2 years, the greatest challenge of many countries will be food security, especially the Philippines. Kasi wala na tayong ginawa kung hindi puro import, pati yung pang-kuryente, yung coal imported. And now, the other countries that traditionally supplied and sold us these products are saying, teka, we're slowing down on this because there is no telling whether Russia is not going to send or whether Ukraine will, etc. So, what is the long-term goal here, Louie?
Yeah, number one also, no, the reasons why we did this, no. In Asia, we're the lowest consumers of vegetables. Do you know that, no? So, kunyari, pag pumunta ka sa Thailand or Vietnam, you go to the street vendors, when they sell lumpia, di ba? It's all wrapped in gulay, basil, mint, and everything. Pero pag sa Pilipinas, you know, puro meat yung nakalagay doon sa lumpia natin. Di ba?
Kung hindi
so,
turon,
we'd like to encourage more Filipinos to eat gulay. Kasi ang nakikita natin gulay is ano lang, our pinakbet and our chop suey, and that's it, di ba? So, we'd like to encourage more people to take a look at their nutritious the food that they eat, no. And I think that was really very important when COVID happened, because we all want to take care of our health, diba? We all want to find out where our food is coming from, saan ba nanggagaling yan. And yun nga, sabi mo nga, imported yung mga pagkain natin. Saan ba nanggagaling yan? Do they put so much pesticides on it?
Allow me to cut in here, no? Kasi yung sinasabi mong where the food comes from, last year, one of the interesting discoveries of teachers and researchers is that many children don't know where their food comes from and what their food was originally. Children could not connect the chicken that they eat with the chicken that's in the farm, or burgers with cows, or sausages with pigs, diba? So, are you allowing people to tour the BGC facility, the BGC farm, or the one, sa Bel Air? It's a gated community, so malabo yun. But is that part of the plan to put up farms, model farms all over, so children or schools can visit also?
Yeah, actually we've been doing that, no. When we opened the BGC community farm to the public end of March, and every Saturdays we are open to volunteer activities for anyone who would want to assist our farmers and learn a few things about growing their own vegetables, no. Also, we've been working with young kids also to showcase what can be done, and sabi mo nga, where to find them, where their food comes from. We do this every Wednesdays. Kakatawa yung mga bata, it's the first time they've seen vegetables grow, and it's really it really brings us much pride and happiness when you see these kids. Bata pa lang sila, nakita nila, no? And of course, BGC is so convenient, and it really attracts the young people. That's the reason why we decided to put that farm. Because yun din, what is the long-term goal is to inspire more young Filipinos to take a look at farming as as a very good profession. Di yung kawawa. Di ba? We always say kawawa yung mga farmers, you know. But in our way, in our own little way as a private social enterprise, we could inspire more young people to get into farming.
Okay, how difficult is it to get the materials? Because syempre marami namang mga traditional sources dyan, si Harvest and East-West Seeds, etc., Ramgo, pero yan yung mga nakikita natin sa hardware at saka sa grocery. But for those who really want to get into this, how difficult is it, or nakakakuha ka rin ba with, like, you know, the Bureau of Plant Industry, etc.?
Well, when we opened the BGC, talagang, you know, the partners started coming in. And what we really tell the partners is, this is a non-competitive, this is a non-denominational, this is a non-political project where everybody is, you know, free to support it. No? So kakatuwa nga. So right now, the greenhouse that we have in BGC was constructed by East-West Seed. You know, we've been working with different partners like Tyson Builders also built the farm store, and then MKP, which is a Japanese seedling company, is also helping us with our seedlings. So ang dami talagang nagtutulong, and it's being run by volunteers, kaya nakakatuwa.
Alam mo naman, you know, everywhere in the world, when there is a museum, there is an exhibit or whatever, laging may store. Okay, dyan ba sa farm at the BGC, meron bang store of assortments? Kasi some people, you know, they get turned off if it is only one brand. But if you say multi-brand, ay nako, magpupuntahan ng tao dyan.
Yeah, that's really the idea for the farm store there, is to be an agriculture complex where, you know, you can find anything that you want to start farming. Of course, we're starting pa lang and partners are coming in, but we really welcome different companies and different organizations to work with us. So wala talagang competitor here. Everybody's supporting it so that, you know, agriculture becomes a mainstream here in the Philippines. Hindi lang siya novelty na sinasabi mong hobby.
But sorry Louie, how sustainable is it? Kasi alam mo, parang simbahan din yan eh, di ba? Sabi mo, non-denominational nga, pero pag nawala na yung bishop o yung chief pastor, wala na. It disintegrates eh. Yung farm na yan at the BGC or the one in ano na nga ba ito? Yung exclusive village in Bel-Air. Who's running that? Is it all Louie Gutierrez, or eventually are you giving people templates, business models na, oh, here, if you want to copy, here, please, this is our manual, master plan?
Well, that's also part of our long-term goal also. Aside from consultancy services, we're also working with 180 Degrees Consulting, which is a Singapore-based social enterprise consulting company, to come up with a social enterprise franchise for the project, no? And because ang dami din mga people like me who sabi lang, meron ako lupa, I don't know what to do with it, I want to help people, I want to do some farming, but I don't know how. So can you teach me? I'm
reminded of our common friend, Pastor Jerome Gutierrez. Yeah.
Pero ang sabi ko sa kanya, the most important thing is to have a champion. Meron ka dapat champion to start with your project, para by hook or by crook or kahit anong mangyari, that person stays there and make sure that things happen. Kasi talagang, nag-iiba eh, may magre-resign na farmers, mamamatay yung halaman, but at the end of the day, you have to have a resilient person there to make sure that things happen. So that's what we want to groom more people there, para later on, pag wala na ako, of course, there's an exit strategy for all of this.
Mhm.
It's gonna be the young people who's gonna be running it. Because at the end of the day, sila naman ang makikinabang eh. It's my
And
kids.
not everybody is into it for business. You know,
Exactly.
some people just really want to plant, and it's a good idea. That's why it's called social entrepreneurship. Anyway, Louie, we've run out of time, but last question: where exactly in BGC should people go if they want to visit that farm lot at the BGC?
We're very convenient and high visible area. No? We're at the back of St. Luke's Hospital and SNR in BGC. Every Saturdays, we have slots for volunteer activities to assist the farmers. And on Wednesdays, also, we have kiddie workshops for those who want to bring their kids to learn about farming. So thank you very much, Cito, for inviting me. And I hope more people get inspired with what we're doing. And hopefully we have all of our idle lands in Manila turned into urban farms.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Louie Gutierrez. And keep on planting, my friend, and more power to you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now I leave you with our reminder prayer verse, Bible verse from the book of Proverbs chapter 6, verses 16 to 19 during this final week of the campaign before elections. There are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are an abomination to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that make haste to run to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies, and one who sows discord among brothers. Please bear that in mind as we enter into the weekend before Election Day on Monday. I'm Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us today, the 5th day of May. God bless all of you. Thank you for joining Agenda. Please keep it here on One News PH.